Hello, I'm Sarah Pennington. This is Daisy. Most of you know me from Daisy. So there's two stories that I wanted to share. This is my first time coming up for the open mic, even though I'm kind of an open book at this point, and this is my fourth conference. 2 years ago, everything kind of hit the wall. I had depression, I had anxiety, I had trick episodes that lasted for 2 hours where the only thing I was doing was pulling, and I knew I needed help because I couldn't get out of bed. So I talked to my parents and I said, I need help. And I agreed to go to a psychiatric hospital. And the first day when I was in the right unit, because that's a whole different story, how they ended up in the eating disorder unit, but we'll not go there. So when I got to the right unit, the first day, we had group. And I go into the group, and I'm the new kid, and everybody had been there a couple weeks at least, so you all knew each other. And I was like, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm here because I have trichotillomania. And I could sense something was up. I could see it in the room, the glances that went around. And the therapist says, okay, do you want to share with us what trichotillomania is? Now at this point, I had been going to conferences for a couple years, so I was okay with saying I had trichotillomania, just not showing my bald patches. So I said, okay, that's fine. And this one boy, to a girl who was sitting next to me, he said, are you okay with that? And that was all. So I was like, okay, I'll just share. So I said, trichotillomania is a compulsive hair pulling disorder. And as soon as I said that, the girl next to me started crying. So this girl had come to the hospital. She had said, I have trichotillomania. But her cover was no one knew what trichotillomania was. And I had just accidentally bursted this girl's cover. So now everyone knew that she pulled out her hair, she had bald patches, and she'd been hiding it. I had no idea I did that. Fast forward, I'm sitting in my therapist's office, and I look at him, and he says, you know you're not leaving here before you take off your hat, right? And I say, you what now? No, I agreed to stop pulling. I didn't agree to go out bald. Anyway, so we talk for a couple of weeks, and he says, 1 minute. You do 1 minute out where everyone's sitting. And I look at him and I say, whatever, okay, fine, do it. So he's standing in the corner smirking at me because he's like, you're gonna take off your hat. And I'm like, I hate you right now. Anyway, so I take off my hat. Everyone's kind of working, so they're not really staring at me. But that was probably the biggest anxiety that I've ever had, and it lasted for, I'm not joking you, 3 seconds. And then it went down. Because guess what? The world didn't end. No one died. Nothing bad happened. And I was like, okay, I've been hiding this for 5 years now, and nothing bad happened. I took off my hat. 3 days later, I was in the theater going to a movie in public, and I didn't have a hat on. And you know what we talked about, me and the cashier? We talked about my Harry Potter shirt. So there are people in here who are hiding a secret. There's a lot of people in here who are hiding a secret, and this is their first time telling people. This has been a 7-year journey for me, talking about it, coming out, feeling comfortable with who I am. And I'm not here to tell you to tomorrow go out and tell the entire world, because if you're not comfortable with that, it's not going to be good. But if you're on the verge, seriously, go for it. I posted on Facebook as soon as I got home from the hospital, and every single comment was supportive. I did not receive one negative feedback. And then the next day, I went to school without a hat. It was superhero day for the Spirit Week, and the seniors came up to me and they said, you know, we're not the superheroes here. We might be wearing the costumes, but you're really the superhero because you're going out bald and you're showing who you really are. And none of the other kids in this school have had the confidence to be their true selves. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you.
I'm Kris Jenner. I'm 12, and I've been pulling since I moved to Houston, so that was 5 years ago. And for the first year, no one really noticed, but by the second year, most of my eyebrows were missing, and my parents started wondering what was happening to me. So they took me to several therapists, and they were all like, oh, it's stress or it's anxiety from moving to a new place. And on my third therapist, fourth, or I don't know, Dr. Mutinotum, she missed the conference this year. She was at her son's wedding. She was like, oh, it's probably trichotillomania. So I was good until about fourth grade when I started pulling from my scalp. That was a really tough time for me because I had a large bald patch all over the front of my scalp. I stopped pulling when I left that school and moved to a new gifted program where I've been since 5th grade. So I'm in 6th grade now, so that's 2 years. And my hair's grown back in, and I've been pretty happy most of the time, but it has been a definite struggle. But the thing that's helped me the most is telling my friends about who I really am, and coming out to my parents about what was happening to me. And it's just been a long journey for me, and I know I'm not the worst case out there, but it's been hard. I've been posted on Snapchat with rude comments. I've had people kick me or tell me, why are you bald? What's wrong with you? Go put on some makeup or go do that somewhere else. And the whole time, the people who knew were really supportive of me. So even if you don't tell everyone, just tell at least one person, and they will be your rock in an ocean, and you will be able to, with time, come out to everyone about who you really are. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimmie, and when I was in the 8th grade, I remember my mom telling me in the car that she said maybe I should think about becoming a therapist because I really loved listening to people. That was the same year that in one of my classes, a smart aleck kid named Peter saw what I was doing and said, there's a name for that, it's called trichotillomania. And I thought that he was being so smart because he was telling me big words. Like a lot of you probably, I am very type A, so I took that information and I channeled it into building a career in psychology. It's what I loved to do. I loved science. I learned as much about bodily focused repetitive behaviors as I could to make myself feel better because that was the best way I had of dealing with it. This is only my second conference. My first was 2 years ago, and I came into it thinking that I was going to present a poster and network with professionals and build my career, but I didn't have the experience that I thought I would. I ended up leaving the poster session in the middle of it because I had had a panic attack, and I left feeling a little bit unfulfilled. A lot has happened since then, a lot of peaks and valleys, as I've heard in a lot of the sessions, but I have to say that this year was a complete 180, and I think it's because I loosened up a little bit. I realized it wasn't about my career, and the BPM is still one of the things that I'm absolutely most excited about, and I still can't walk past Dr. Grant or any other professionals without getting a little starstruck, but this year I brought my mom, and she has skin picking, and I feel like I inherited some of it from her, and I wanted to teach her about it and just be a person with her and not be a researcher or not be an educator or not have to live up to any of that. And I feel like as a result, my pulling, well, I do both. Both of them have gotten a lot better as a result just because I feel like I don't have to live up to this high bar that I set for myself all the time. And Jen and Leslie and all the wonderful people that I've met here, I don't look at them as the next career opportunity, although Jen can probably tell you that I email her every other month asking her, what can I do, what can I do? But they're people that I trust because they know this most intimate, integral part of myself, and they don't care. In the best way, and I'm so, so thankful for everybody who is here today, because just being here is really important. You don't have to do anything else but just be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Thompson. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois. I'm 19, and this is my 4th conference. Last year when I was at the conference, I was fresh out of high school. I had graduated in January. I was in my first semester at community college. That last year I decided that I would shave my head, and it was a great decision. I really liked doing it. It was wonderful. It worked well for me. And afterwards, I got back to school, and I decided I would do an interview with the school newspaper, and I had an article about it published in the paper, and everything was going great until I got to the summer semester. I was so stressed out. I could hardly sit through class without pulling. I was just freaking out. I remember one day my mom drove me to class, and I wouldn't get out of the car, and I just sat there, and I was crying, and I was like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I can't sit all day and just write and take notes and listen. I can't sit still like this. This is not what I can do. I can't do this anymore. That day I dropped out of school, and my mom said, okay, you can do this, but you need to apply for a job. And that day I went and I looked around and I asked around, and a few days later, that's when I applied for PetSmart. And a few days later, I got a call, and I went in for an interview, and July of this past summer was when I found PetSmart, and I started working with dogs, and I grew really close with everybody in the salon, and since then they have sent me to their grooming academy, and I've got a stable job. I'm full-time. I've become a dog groomer, and my trichotillomania has been pretty much under control because my mom likes to put it, I'm working with my hands all day and I'm doing something I love, and it's just amazing. And I highly recommend to a lot of the kids out there that are in high school, teenagers, to just know that college isn't for everybody. And even if you do want to go eventually, you don't have to go right away. If you don't feel like you're ready, there's other options out there. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Jillian Evans. I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Maddy, and I'm 19 years old.
I have had trichotillomania since I was 6. It's a big part of my life, but not too big that I'm constantly working on it, like I'm pulling or not. But big enough to send me to this conference, and I'm so glad I did, because I have met so many friends, new friends.
Since I've been going for the past 4 years, I've loved coming and spending time with old and new friends.
And since coming to this conference, I feel like I'm not the only one on the planet who has this disorder. I was getting my badge when Maddy said hi and then hugged me, and I knew I was in the right place.
Meeting Jillian has been a total game changer. Her radiance and confidence throughout this weekend has been a beautiful thing to see.
If I could choose any place in the world to go, I would go to the BFRB conference, and I'm definitely coming back next year with my rainbow hair.
Hi, my name is Sandy. This is actually my first conference, but I have trichotillomania. I've been pulling for about 20 years at least. The main reason I'm up here is just to say thank you to those of you who have met who I'm becoming. In the past, I've been the quiet, shy one in the corner. And throughout the past year, have been really working on myself in general, not just with pulling, but that's part of it. And I made it my goal to come here and to connect. That was my focus. And some of you who have met me during this experience might even be surprised because I've tried to be friendly, I've tried to be outgoing, I've approached so many different people, and that's something that's pretty new for me. I just want to encourage those of you too who are closer to the beginning of your journey, so to speak, that it gets better. It might not be in the ways you're expecting, but as you go through, as you learn from it, as you find your way to have peace and acceptance, whatever that looks like for you, and finding the support too, which I am so grateful to have found in this community now that I'm revisioning who I'm going to be in this world. So thank you.